Hey guys, MartyBoots here. Today I've got a different type of video for you, and it's a it's a conspiracy video. And I don't normally deal with or take on too many conspiracies. Now we all have a bit of fun now and again looking into them, but there is something very, very, very fishy going on right now, um, in the world, in the markets, and it's affecting everybody's daily life the whole way around the world. So I think it's worth looking into a little bit. And I'm not saying everybody has to agree with it or not agree with it, but please write in the comment section below, if you've got any views on this video. Um, I'd like to hear people's views on it. Also, guys, please give the video a thumbs up and like, and take the 3-day free trial if you're interested. We are building a group of super traders, and we are in there every single day trying to make life-changing money. We have a group of fantastic members, and we have a lot of services in there. We have lots of trading courses, $500,000 worth of trading courses. We have VIP alerts from different alert groups and such and stuff like that. On top of that, we have our own fantastic group. So if you're interested, guys, take the 3-day free trial and don't be shy. We have a lot of great members in there, so come on in and say hello. Anyway, back to the video. Guys, there has to be something fishy going on here. Now, first things first, look where the coronavirus started. Okay, right at the top of the market. Guys, how alone can that be a coincidence? Like that, just that fact alone that happened, there is something fishy. Okay, now if you look back to the SARS virus happened in 2003, end of 2002, November 2002 was the first case. Okay, if you research that, you'll find out. And look right back here, November 2002, right here, and even in this rollover, right on the lows of the bear market after the tech bubble. Okay, and that was the exact lows of the market. How can these two viruses be at two opposite ends of the market? One at the very lows and one at the very highs. Guys, that alone is very fishy. That alone tells me this is manipulation, by the big guys, or the powers that be, whatever you want to call it, the governments and the whoever you can name them, whoever you want them to be, the whales, so to speak. Now, it's just funny. The thing is, guys, down here there was whatever it was, 30 to 50 million. I mean, if you look through all the files, the deaths, I think there's deaths and cases. You can see here it's not as extreme. Of course, there were 700 deaths. Okay, from this, I'm just going by this, guys, but this is Wikipedia, so you can research this yourselves or whatever. But it wasn't as worldwide spread. You can see that there was quite a few countries that got hit really bad, but back then there was no, like, I mean, 5,000 cases and 300 deaths in China. Um, it seemed a lot smaller. Now it's rampant, and I think because there was no deaths in the USA, maybe it was not affecting anything on the markets. But it happened on the dead lows of the market, right? And the markets went higher the whole way. Okay, it finished in 2004, May, May or whatever. I don't think the date really matters, but you can see there May 2004, maybe five, yeah, 2004. Anyway, the markets kept going up, right, in that period when the SARS virus, and it was a epidemic, or whatever. It was pretty bad back then. So here's the other fishy thing, right? This back here is when the trade war agreements got signed between China and America. Now, Trump really pushed hard on the Chinese and made them sign the documents and all for the trade war, in that trade war, and all of a sudden then the coronavirus comes out and escalates, and is pumped all over the world. Now, there's a couple of scenarios that you could look at this. Like the trade war, guys, China is manipulating and has been manipulating our currency for years and years and years. They're suppressing the value of their currency, or they have been suppressing the value of their currency in order for their products to remain cheap, so the whole world buys them. This is the Chinese plan, and this is what they've been doing for years and years and years. Now, the American government wanted to come in and get them to stop manipulating our currency, so it would allow America, for example, to be able to sell their products around the world easier and compete with China better. Okay, stuff like that. I'm not going to go into more nitty gritty stuff, but it requires some research and all that sort of into the fundamentals of it all. But that's essentially what was going on. Now, the Chinese were not happy with that because the Chinese have built their economy on this, and we all know that they had one of the strongest economies in the world until they did have a crash and all the rest. But it was working very well for them, and the Americans backed them into the corner and made them sign this agreement. Trump pressured them into doing this, and they were not happy. So here's the thing: did the Chinese come out? There's two scenarios here, guys. Two conspiracy scenarios that you can let me know your views on. One is that the Chinese have made this virus, okay, and spread it all around the world. Spread it, and because they didn't close up their country when this virus spread, they kept it quiet. Okay, that's not normal practice. Then they let their people escape after Christmas. Escape might be the wrong word, but then they traveled all over the world without having any lockdown, and they spread this thing all over the world. Okay, and it's only after that they let their public go after the Christmas period or whatever it was, after the holiday period, that then they started leaking how many deaths and all the rest. It got a lot worse. Of course, it takes time. But then by this time, it was spread all over the world, and the rest of the world was all infected. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. This is very good for the Chinese economy. This is going to supercharge the Chinese economy. And why? Because all around the world now is getting affected, is in standstill. All shops are getting closed. All the food is going. All these other economies are all hit. The stock markets are all hit hard around the world. Everything else. The Chinese stock market is not crashing. The Chinese economy is back up and running. The factories are back up and running. But they're almost pretty much back into full swing, while the rest of the economy is in lockdown. The rest of the world is in lockdown, guys, basically. So yes, it might be a bit far fetched, but maybe the Chinese put it out there to stop the growth of the rest of the world, and then the rest of the world is going to have to come back and buy all the Chinese products. What is going to happen? The Chinese economy is going to explode with growth of selling all these products all around the world. In my view, I think the Chinese economy is going to grow. Okay, from this, I think it's a very good thing for the Chinese economy because they are the main producers around the world, and now people are going to want more, all more stuff. So that is the first scenario, guys. And now the second scenario is possibly on the other side of the coin. If you flip the coin, what about if the Americans, okay, Trump and the powers that be in American government or whatever, what if they needed an excuse to crash the markets? Because this bubble, look at this bubble. This was a financial crisis, guys. Look at this. This was a financial crisis, and this was the bubble. Now, the bubble needed to be let some air out of the bubble, and they needed a reason. If this market crashed or dropped hard, maybe Trump wouldn't get re-elected, or maybe they needed a reason for it to come down. The markets don't just come down on its own. The reason in the tech bubble came down was the dot-com crash. Okay, all the dot-coms crashed. This was the reason for this. The financial crisis, the derivatives market and the subprime market, and the property market, that was the cause of this crash. Now, there always needs to be a cause of a market crash. Otherwise, the economy moves higher. Like back in history, the markets always move higher unless there is an issue, guys. And it's inflation. It's money printing. It's how the economy works. So they needed a reason. And, maybe it was manipulated to lower the markets. So, for example, so Trump can maybe save the day or whatever, and then get re-elected. You can hear Trump in his speeches, and he's talking a big game and all the rest, and whatever, that's all good. But maybe he can look good now by trying to bounce this and be the hero, with all his money printing and stimulus plans right down in here. All this money printing is the most money printing the world has ever seen, right in here, guys, right? So if this bounces the markets, Trump is going to look like a hero. Um, Now, down here, this was the most money printing the world had ever seen, right? Right in here. This was the biggest stimulus package the world had ever seen, right here. And then look what happened. The next 10 years, guys, 10 years, the market skyrocketed. Okay, what is going to happen now? I want to show you something here, and a lot of people don't realize this. 1 second, guys. Just let me get this little tool here, and just want to clean off some of this. Okay, so look at this. Look at the drop here. Okay, look at the size of that drop. This is the dot-com crash, right? Look at the financial crisis. So the financial crisis fell more. Financial crisis fell this depth, okay? This is the size of the financial crisis. What happened in the last 4 weeks? We have fell more in the last 4 weeks than we have done in the financial crisis. It's on a points wise, it's the biggest drop in the financial history, in the stock market history. Okay, and it happened in such a short space of time. It's the largest drop ever. And so with that said, I'm not saying this drop is over, because this virus is still affecting the world and it's still affecting economies and all the rest. But what I'm saying is I would not like to be fighting the money printing. And also, it's the largest money printing in history done right in here. So the drop is huge, guys. It's a huge drop. It's not percentage wise the same drop. What the chart is implying, for anybody looking at it, the chart is implying that we have a bounce, and then that would send us lower down to the next level, and possibly down here, right? That is kind of what the chart is telling us. It's mad to think that we've already fell 50% of that drop. You can see this. Look at that. It's almost identical 50% from eyeing it. And how quick it's happened. It's crazy. So that is a conspiracy, guys. I would not want to be fighting this money printing. I would like to see this develop and potentially at least buy the bounce. I'd buy the bounce. But I remember I traded the financial crisis down in here, and I was buying some stocks down here. There were shipping stocks that used to be worth $35, and I was buying them for 11 cents. Okay. And I was a novice trader back then. I started trading in 2007 or whatever. I bought them at 11 cents, and I would sell them at 15 cents, guys. And I thought I was fantastic. I thought it was great. I was making really good return, blah, blah, blah. But little did I know that this money printing would cause this market to absolutely skyrocket for 10 years straight. If I would have known that, of course, I would have held and be a multimillionaire. Now they are printing this money again, and I always remember my experience from back here in the financial crisis when they printed all this money, and it reminded me, even though at the time everybody said the market was going to crash even lower, it was going way down, do not buy stocks, the fear was out there. It sticks in my mind, the fear and the panic at that time, and the market just went higher right after the money printing. So guys, after this money printing kicks in, even though it looks like it should go lower, be very careful. Anyway, guys, that's it for the video. You can let me know what you think on the conspiracies, and if anybody agrees with them or anybody thinks it's a crock of shit or whatever. Everybody's got their own opinion, and that's totally fine. I'm just saying that it's a completely crazy coincidence that the trade war just happened here, and China was very, very unhappy about it, right? Number one, and it changes the whole structure of their economy. That's an extremely important point that people are overlooking. And also the coronavirus has happened right on the peak, exactly on the top of the market. And the SARS virus happened exactly on the lows of the market, guys. It just seems to me like possibly the viruses are new weapons that can be used to feed the media to create panic, and then the big guys can do whatever the hell they want. If they need the market to drop or manipulate the market or whatever, if they need an excuse to print more money so they look good while they're in power, then they might have to do it, and they might have to cause a virus to be able to get away with this. Otherwise, they can't just come out and print money. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think, and don't forget to take the 3-day free trial and come on in and see what we're all about. Don't get me wrong, normally the videos are not like this. We're not usually a conspiracy group or whatever, but I just thought I would throw it out there. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.